Good day, everyone. This is Kathleen Boldt at the Medium's Porch, and I am here with my good friend Celeste Elliott. We are both registered mediums in LILYDALE, New York, and you are listening to LILYDALE Radio. LILYDALE Assembly is a center for spiritualism, those of you that are tuning in for the first time, and we are a year-round community. There are mediums as well as other people, other spiritualists living on the ground. Celeste here, as you see her here, she and I met a long time ago. Celeste is a reverend in the Spiritualist Church. She is a member of the Church of the Living Spirit. And you probably know her if you've been listening to LILYDALE Radio as a host as well. She is an expert podcast host. She is our guru for all of us that are new to podcasts here on LILYDALE Radio. And she has been doing her podcast, Wake Up to Spirit, for, I don't know, what is it, the last 7 years now?
I think it's closer to 5, but thank you for thinking I did it that long.
I'm giving you all that extra time. Yeah, exactly. Celeste is a beautiful medium. She has been working for more than 11, 12 years as a full-time professional medium. And she trained at the same school I did, which is Fellowships of the Spirit. That's where we both got our start. And we learned quite a bit there about healing, about how to work with clients. I mean, a lot of that stuff comes naturally, but at the same time, it's nice to have a container to put it in. And they have been very supportive of us when we began, as we were learning to put a context around the nature of being a medium. Celeste is a born natural medium and second generation, third generation. How many generations, Celeste?
Well, we know it runs on my mom's side at least. And and so we could put at least 3 generations in there, including myself. So
beautiful. Beautiful. I know there's some families where it runs through the lineage, but because there's no context, they just end up incorporating into their daily life, because it is normal for us as humans to have intuition.
Yeah, and I think also even with context, it's incorporated into daily life. And you see that a lot with spiritualist families because, as the practice of our religion and our belief system that spirit is always all around us, it's just normalized in a way that it's like, oh, I had a dream about Uncle Bob last night, or I was putting away grandma's, china into the cupboard today. And she said, oh, be careful with that. That was my favorite, sort of thing. Yeah. And, that can be a beautiful experience to know that, they're still with us and they still want to interact and have those relationships. And the thing is, like, they don't want control over our lives. I think that's that's such a misconception when people come to us and they think, well, I've had a number of people, sometimes I'll go and sit with people as they're passing as a minister, or they'll come into, a mediumship session with me, and it's like, they're being pulled in by, other family members, and they'll say, I'm afraid because I don't want them to tell me that I did it wrong, or that, they're afraid of judgment in some way. And really it's meant to be just such a loving and uplifting space. Mm-hmm. They want to bring us inspiration and support, and not, my standard example has been, nobody wants to tell you off for folding your socks wrong. It's like there's such controversy over whether you make you fold them inside out or you fold them over each other. So
exactly. This is the way you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a story a long time ago, somebody told about how the family had this tradition because their mother always took I think it was the ham and cut off the ends before she put it in the thing, and they all just assume in the pot. So they assumed that if she was doing that, there must be a very good reason.
Right.
And so they were, I guess, arguing about this because this wasn't going to taste good because these ends weren't cut off. And in the end, the mother shared with them that she just did that so it would fit in the pan.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are the things that come up in sessions, right? That it's
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Where, we think once they're gone, we don't get to ask questions, but it's like, if we're in conversation with our loved ones, if we stop othering them and, giving that thought of like, well, they're gone sort of thing, then they will be in cooperative energy with us, and they'll tell us not what to do, but maybe why they did things a certain way. And we say they say cash is king in business, but context is key and is king in the rest of the time.
Right. And a lot of what we're doing with our evidence, and I say we, I mean spirit and us, as that team connection to the sitter, to the client, we're building awareness, right? We're bringing acknowledgement of the spirit. We're bringing awareness of the memories, so that individual can become more aware of many things at once, right? I mean, they're going to be becoming aware of a love or a history, or the fact that somebody else even remembers things that they may not even have thought were memorable.
Oh yeah.
And I find it fascinating that the range and scope that we get when we're listening to spirit coming through and watching what happens for the individual receiving. There's so much there.
Oh yeah. Well, and the funny thing too about people's memories, have you ever read for twins?
No.
Okay, so I've had a few occasions through the course of my career where I've read for twins who were very, like lockstep with each other. Some twins aren't. Some twins just need to come into being at the same time, but they've got their own things going on. And sometimes even twins who are in lockstep remember things in different ways. So, it's kind of, there's this perception. But it's so neat because one might remember details about one thing and another remembers details about another thing. And then when it comes together with spirit, it's like they share that with each other, and it brings up, because the spirit person has a third perspective, and it's really beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had the luxury of that yet. Yet.
Well, now that I've said it, though, you're due. So
it'll synchronize somehow, right? It'll be
always
coming up soon.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that whole idea that we're connected like twins, right? We have this experience where we have similarities. We see the same things. We see it from a different vantage point. And yet with the twins, they're also having that connection of energetic sameness, right? That's even greater and stronger than regular siblings may.
Exactly. Yeah. I think part of that might be because they assume that they're supposed to.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Because nobody's told them not to, so I think that's really important. But they also, they have a lot of practice on us, because they start communicating with each other well before they're born, because they've got to figure out how to share space together.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that would be true.
And babies aren't, always in the body all the time anyway, and partially because they sleep so much, and we sleep even in the womb, so that's very interesting. I talk about babies coming down to earth almost like scuba divers, getting used to different levels of pressure, and how they have to learn how to be on our plane of reality, which is so much more dense than the spirit planes. So we get used to it. And we forget, unless we have dreams or we have lucid meditations where we're out on different planes of reality or traveling around, that we can get up and stretch sometimes. We don't have to stay in the body.
Exactly.
It's so natural for us. We're interdimensional beings also. It's just that we can't take our physical form with us when we go to those planes. So Yeah.
One of the things that I know as a medium, sometimes there were years there when I wasn't doing mediumship and I was really in my body and I was dancing and I was doing that type of thing. I was getting in touch with my form. But when I started doing more mediumship, it became very easy to forget about the form and to, not go for those walks and not eat that good food, and I think that's something that is part of our spiritual journey, to have the two together, to bring that balance, to understand what it is. I mean, why else would our spirit come into a body unless we wanted to have the experience of the body? Right?
Yeah. I'm 99% certain I signed up just for the chocolate and coffee, but that could just be me. I don't know, but
Yeah. I'm
um,
probably more of a donuts girl, which is really complicated when it comes to dieting, because then if that's your thing, there's a lot of calories in there.
well, everything in moderation, especially
Yes, cut that
moderation.
into Timbits.
Yes.
Not feel deprived, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, but we have incredible things going on in LILYDALE this summer, and I hope that people go and check that out. We have also, for opening weekend, the Tibetan monks, the Dalai Lama's traveling Tibetan monks.
Right.
Yeah, and they will be here all weekend doing various events. They'll be building their sand mandala up in the fire hall, so you can just drop by and see that at any time. And it's really, it's very, very cool. They do a tremendous job every year of kind of explaining the culture, and everything that goes into the art of making a mandala, which is, um, it's almost painful to see something so beautiful made and then, they release it. It goes away. And each one is, they have set designs, but also it's each one is just a little bit different, a little, it's just that kind of magic.
And then Shannon Taggart, you've met Shannon Taggart, am I
Oh
correct?
yeah, several times, and she's absolutely wonderful, and she has been really good at bringing her symposium to LILYDALE year after year, the Science of Things Spiritual, and yeah, it brings together intellectuals who are also rooted in some sense of spirituality. So we get really, really, really interesting conversations
I
with
bet.
that.
You can find Celeste on her webpage. You want to tell us how people can get in touch with you, Celeste?
Yeah, my website is pretty easy to find. It's celesteelliott.com. You can also find me off of the LILYDALE Assembly site. So lilydaleassembly.org under the Find a Medium connection. And that lists all the mediums in LILYDALE, so you can, we're all independent contractors, so you can see energetically who you feel very connected to and go from there. So
Wonderful. It has been great having you, and we hope we see everybody in LILYDALE this summer. Check in www.lilydaleassembly.org. And I am Kathleen. You'll find me at Medium Kathleen. You'll find Celeste by her name. It's nice when it's, our names. It just makes it so easy. All right. I want to thank everybody. Have a great day, and we'll look forward to talking with you all again soon. Be well.